For many people, high blood pressure feels like a problem that only others face until the numbers at a routine checkup tell a different story, and suddenly the heart is under pressure every moment of the day without warning signs. The modern lifestyle filled with constant stress, deadlines, and worrying has created a hidden storm inside the body where blood vessels tighten and the heart strains harder than it should. Yet there exists an ancient solution, passed down quietly through generations, not in the form of medicine or machines, but in the most natural act of all, breathing. The power of the breath has been recognized by monks, healers, and traditional practitioners for centuries as a way to restore balance and calm. Unlike complicated regimens, this practice requires no special tools, no money, and almost no time. With only a few minutes of focused breathing, the body can shift from stress to peace, lowering pressure in a way that feels almost magical. Science now confirms what the ancients already knew. Breath is medicine, and within it lies the key to unlocking calm and protecting the heart from silent damage. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer because it creeps into daily life without loud warnings or sudden alarms. Most people do not feel it, as it builds slowly year after year, tightening arteries and forcing the heart to work harder with every beat. The danger lies in its invisibility, because unlike pain or fever, there is no clear sign until damage is already underway. Tiny cracks appear in the blood vessels, the risk of heart attack or stroke rises, and yet the person may continue with their routines unaware of the pressure inside. Stress, poor sleep, processed food, and lack of movement feed this hidden fire every day. Millions live with it quietly, only learning of it during a checkup when the numbers flash higher than expected. Doctors warn that ignoring it is like carrying a ticking clock in the chest, but many feel powerless because pills become the default solution, often with side effects. Beneath the surface, the body is constantly under strain, and the tragedy is that something so destructive can remain invisible for so long. This silent threat is not just about numbers on a monitor, but about the very quality and length of life, quietly shortened if left unchecked. Centuries ago, healers and monks discovered that the breath itself could be used as medicine, a tool for balance and restoration before modern science existed. They noticed that by slowing the breath, deepening it, and guiding it in a steady rhythm, the body responded in remarkable ways. The heart began to beat more calmly, tension in the muscles released, and the mind shifted from agitation to stillness. This practice, passed down through generations, became more than a ritual. It was a survival strategy in times of stress, a way to bring harmony when life pressed too heavily. Unlike complicated exercises or strict diets, this technique required nothing but awareness and patience, accessible to anyone regardless of age or strength. It was once used in temples, in quiet fields, even in preparation for battle, as warriors and seekers alike understood that control of the breath meant control of the body and mind. Modern research has only recently begun to validate what ancient wisdom already knew, showing that this simple act of intentional breathing can lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, and restore balance to the cardiovascular system. It stands as a bridge between old traditions and present-day health, a reminder that the body already carries within it the tools it needs to heal. When the technique is practiced, the first change happens in the nervous system, where the breath acts as a signal that the body is safe. Instead of shallow and rapid breathing that keeps the body in a state of alert, the deliberate slower rhythm stimulates the parasympathetic response. This shift lowers the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, creating a cascade of calm throughout the body. As the lungs expand fully and air moves deeper into the diaphragm, more oxygen enters the bloodstream and carbon dioxide is released more efficiently. This improved gas exchange eases the workload of the heart and blood vessels, allowing blood pressure to stabilize naturally. The steady rhythm of inhaling and exhaling influences the vagus nerve, which connects the brain to many organs, sending messages of relaxation and restoration. With consistent practice, the arteries become less constricted, circulation improves, and the heart begins to beat in a more coherent pattern. The mind too responds as brainwave activity slows, enhancing clarity and focus while reducing anxiety. Over time, the body learns to adapt more quickly to stress, becoming resilient and balanced. What appears on the surface to be nothing more than controlled breathing, in fact a powerful biological mechanism that rewires the body toward health. Stories of transformation begin with individuals who once lived under the constant shadow of hypertension and the fatigue it created. One man who had been struggling with medication adjustments for years found that within a few weeks of practicing the breathing technique daily, his numbers began to stabilize and his energy returned. A woman who used to experience stress-induced spikes in blood pressure discovered that using the method during tense moments at work allowed her to remain calm and avoid the headaches that once disrupted her days. Others described how nighttime practice not only lowered their blood pressure, but also gave them deeper, uninterrupted sleep, leaving them refreshed in the morning instead of drained. Many who had resigned themselves to a lifetime of tension and pills felt renewed hope when a practice so simple offered visible change. Doctors observed patients becoming less dependent on constant medication adjustments, and families noticed loved ones becoming more present, less irritable, and more at ease in daily life. The transformations were not dramatic overnight miracles, but steady shifts that compounded with consistency, proving that ancient wisdom still carries the power to heal in modern times. He begins by creating a calm setting and a supported posture, sitting with feet flat and spine tall or lying with knees bent so the lower back is easy. Placing one hand on the belly and one on the side ribs to feel movement, relaxing the jaw and resting the tongue lightly on the roof of the mouth. He exhales gently to empty, softens his gaze, and sets a timer for 3 to 5 minutes, so he is not watching the clock. The basic cycle is simple, breathing through the nose for 4 to 5 seconds, so the belly widens first and the ribs expand sideways. Pause for 1 soft second without bracing. Then breathe out slowly for 6 to 8 seconds through the nose or lightly purse lips, letting the ribs glide down and the belly fall. He aims for roughly 6 breaths per minute, keeping the breath quiet, smooth, and comfortable rather than deep or forceful. If the urge to gulp air appears, he shortens the inhale and lengthens the exhale back to a relaxed 1 to 2 rhythm, such as 3 in and 6 out. With every exhale he releases the shoulders, throat, and brow, and imagines warm weight settling through the hips or the back of the heart. If helpful, he adds a faint hum on the out-breath to encourage calm. If lightheadedness arises, he returns to normal breathing for a few moments and resumes more gently. He practices 20 to 30 cycles, then sits still 4 to quiet breaths before opening his eyes. After 3 to 5 days, he extends sessions to 6 to 8 minutes, later to 10, and anchors the habit morning and evening, with a bonus 1-minute set before stressful calls, heavy traffic, or bedtime. He keeps notes or a simple blood pressure log a few times per week to observe trends, uses nasal breathing whenever possible, and treats consistency as the real lever, letting the longer exhale do the work while the body learns to settle. Every day that passes without action allows the strain on blood vessels to quietly build, and high pressure left unchecked rarely gives warning before damage occurs. He recognizes that waiting for the perfect time or for motivation to suddenly appear is what keeps most people stuck. Yet this method requires no equipment, no special location, and only a few minutes of stillness. The simplicity is its power, because the breath is always with him and ready to be used as a tool for healing. He understands that the earlier he begins, the faster his body adapts and the greater the protection he gains against long-term complications. The choice is not about finding an extra hour, but about reclaiming small pauses that already exist, like before meals, at a red light, or before bed. In those pauses lies an opportunity to calm the nervous system, ease tension in the heart, and reverse the hidden tide of stress that fuels rising numbers. By stepping in now instead of delaying, he's not just lowering a reading on a monitor, he's choosing steadier mornings, lighter evenings, and confidence that his heart is guarded by something completely within his control. He comes to the end with a sense of clarity, realizing that the power to change his health has been in his hands all along. Instead of chasing complicated routines or relying only on pills, he discovers that a few intentional breaths can reset his body in ways science is only beginning to confirm. The simplicity is what makes it lasting, and the benefits compound each time he practices. This is not a ritual to try once and forget, but a tool to weave into daily life, a shield that protects the heart and calms the mind whenever it is needed. He knows that delaying only allows pressure and stress to keep building, while beginning today opens the door to steadier numbers, deeper relaxation, and more control over his future. By committing to practice, he gives himself not just the gift of lower blood pressure, but the freedom that comes with energy, focus, and confidence. All it takes is a decision in this moment. And with that decision, he carries forward a habit that can reshape the way he feels every single day.